around us are, or is it because we genuinely believe something ourselves, or is it indeed our desire to agree with what other people are saying? So we need to be concerned and considerate about that, and question ourselves as to why that is. It might be another reason that there's special effects on a program, or that it's been edited, or something that appears to be true when it's not. It could be photoshopped. Who knows what to believe today? When you see an image, do you know whether it's real, or do you know whether it's been photoshopped? Do you know whether a video has been CGI'd, involving computer-generated graphics? Or do you know whether it's genuine? Do you know whether a person is real, or whether an actor that's been paid to say this? How do you really know? And the fact that there's lots of people in on doing something, that just doesn't mean anything. It could be that there's a few people that believe something, and they influence lots of other people who in turn believe it. So even if there are large numbers of people telling you something is true, that doesn't really make it any more valid either. It just means that some of those people are likely to believe what they're telling you is true. I've told lots of false things over the years, I'm sad to say, and I believed a lot of the things that I'd said when I was giving over that information. I passed on a lot of that information unwittingly. I've been deceived myself, possibly by other people also that have been deceived. So the fact that someone's giving you false information doesn't mean that they're doing that on purpose, or that they're corrupt, or that they want to harm you. They could well be doing that unwittingly, accidentally, believing the information is false, but having made a genuine mistake themselves, as does happen to everyone at some point. So it could well be that large numbers of people have simply made innocent mistakes and have been taken in themselves. I'm not saying that that is what's happening. I'm saying that it's possible that that is what's happening. But I am just cautioning that people do need to examine not just other people, but themselves as well. And that we do need to be consistent about the type of examination we give, not giving any kind of test to other people that we wouldn't also welcome to ourselves. That means that we ask questions of ourselves and employ the same standards of ourselves that we wish to be employed to other people also. So I'm going to continue assessing the situation on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. But I have to admit, I do have my doubts. I don't have any absolute evidence to prove anything one way or the other at the moment. But I will certainly keep an open mind until I have enough evidence to say one way or the other what's going on, because that's the scientific method. That's the method through which any good and decent trial operates, that you don't come to the point of a verdict before you have sufficiently looked through all the evidence. If you rush through something, then you are going to be acting on information without knowing. You're going to be acting on assumptions, assuming that you are that you have sufficient information that hasn't actually been examined properly enough. And I think there is a danger to ourselves and in others that we can do that. But I think that's not true now. That's been true always. That's always been the case. But it's probably more necessary now to fact check and to look at different sources, and really to examine them critically, and to ask yourselves whether you feel that's beyond any doubt whether it is true, or whether you could remain and should remain agnostic about that. And there's nothing wrong with saying I don't know about a situation if you genuinely don't. In fact, it is your duty to tell the truth and be honest. Bear not false witness, as many people as possible. So if you actually go out there and say, oh, I think this is true, and it's only really a belief, and it's not really based on any specific knowledge that you have, and there's a clear distinction and a difference between what is a belief and what is a knowledge, whereby you lack evidence in one but not in the other, you could be misleading people if you present one thing as the other. So we need to be very cautious. If I state to someone, for example, oh, I read a journal, I watched a program and it said this, I need to be careful about saying how truthful that is. If I go out and say to someone, I believe that this is the case, okay, fine. But that's different from saying, I know beyond all doubts that this is the case. So I have my beliefs, I have my doubts, I'm really not sure about the current situation. The only thing I have knowledge about, I know that God is there and God will be the judge of all of us throughout this time and throughout all times. But I certainly have my doubts about other people. I certainly have my suspicions about other people. But my suspicions have sometimes been wrong in the past as well. So I have to say, where I have my doubts, I can be wrong about that, and where I have my suspicions, I also can be wrong about that too. But if I do find any exact evidence to tell me what the situation really is, then I will certainly upload or post or write where I next get any opportunity to. And I would see it as a duty for anyone else out there to share information they feel could be valid to the public too. And I wish you all well during this time, and that you use the time as productively as possible to help better yourself and to better your humankind as well. And I certainly wish you all well, and God bless, and to keep the faith.